Alright, we're going to be playing some Blueprints today. This is a game that I love. I put like 120 hours into Blueprints when it came out last year, and it is very cool. And we're going to play around a little bit in the challenge mode that it includes. So, when you play the game to begin with, you start with Bequest mode. I will warn you, this is going to have a lot of spoilers in it. If you care about Blueprints, dubious as to whether or not you'll want to watch this one. But if you're just interested in experiencing some silliness with me here, this should be an interesting time. The initial premise of the game is that you're trying to explore to the 46th room of a 45-room house that randomly resets the order of its rooms every day. And it's a little bit roguelike and a little bit puzzle game, and as you get through it, you discover more and more puzzles that are going on. As you progress through it further, you can unlock some additional modes, and Dare mode is the one we're going to be playing in today. And the main premise of Dare mode should become pretty immediately obvious as we get into it here. So we'll let it load up and we'll get started here. I don't remember if it still does the whole opening cutscene here in Dare mode, but I'll let it play through anyway, just in case people haven't seen it before. Looks like it will.
Herbert S. Sinclair of the Mount Holly estate at Reddington, do publish and declare this instrument my last will and testament, and hereby revoke all wills and codicils heretofore made by me. I give and bequeath to my grandnephew, Simon P. Jones, son of my dear niece, Mary Matthew, all of my right, title, and interest in, and to the house and land which I own near Mount Holly. The above provision and bequest is contingent on my aforementioned grandnephew discovering the location of the 46th room of my 45-room estate. The location of the room has been kept a secret from all the staff and servants of the manor, but I am confident that any heir worthy of the Sinclair legacy should have no trouble uncovering its whereabouts within a timely manner. Should my grandnephew fail to uncover this room or provide proof of his discovery to the executors of my will, then this gift shall lapse. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand this 18th day of March, 1993. Herbert S. Sinclair.
Hey, Radio. I have already beaten this game, basically in all the ways that you can, except for Dare mode, and that's what we're doing today. We're on Dare 1. Normally that says Day 1. There's lots of cute little things like that that they adjust as you're going through the various modes that the game has. So, yeah, I know, I had a blast with it, but this is not a completely fresh playthrough. This is a playthrough of somebody who has played it before. So, here we are in the house. There's a couple of things that we'll explain as they become relevant, but the most immediate thing is this envelope. Open only if you dare. I, Herbert S. Sinclair, dare you, Simon P. Jones, to reach room 46 without failing any of the following dares. So the premise here is normally you just have to get to room 46. And figuring out what that means and how you're going to get in it is a pretty big series of puzzles, and then there's even more things for you to discover. In this mode, because you're coming in with the gameplay knowledge of having done at least that much previously, now there are additional challenges that are imposed on us. And I don't like this one. It's mean. So that's how it goes in this mode, though. The initial premise here is that once we enter a room, we can only enter it 2 more times ever before the day is considered failed. We'll see if we're able to manage that. For the next couple of days, we'll get an additional dare added each time. It stops at 4, and it says if even a single dare is broken, the challenge will be considered failed. If memory serves, all that means is it kicks us back and we lose any progress we made that day. So we are going to pretty quickly run into problems with that, but let's grab our blueprint first and we can talk a little bit what we're looking at. So we've got the blueprint for Mount Holly here. This is going to be our map, and we'll track what we're carrying. And basically, we have to get from the entrance hall to the antechamber after fulfilling a certain number of criteria in order to enter room 46 somehow. This is already a little bit of an ordeal, but we're going to start by immediately leaving the house. Because I already know some of the things we can do here, it is going to be really valuable to us to quickly run away from the house instead of actually starting to explore. We'll see if I remember all of the lock combinations and other little tricks here that I knew back when I was playing the game freshly. But the first thing we're going to do is run around beside our little campfire to this apple orchard. If you come over here, there's a little gate with a keypad on it, and just so happens we already know the password for it. I believe it is this. I will not tell you how I know this, except that it is explained through normal gameplay. The apple orchard has been permanently unlocked and added to our campsite. Starting tomorrow, we'll start each new day with an additional 20 steps. That's really nice. Steps are really valuable. As you see, when we walk through the threshold here, that little step number in the top left corner went down by 1. That is basically how many times we can go through doorways or area transitions before the day is forced to end. So, we want to try and make the most of our steps. Coming here and giving us an additional 20 bonus steps for all future days should make that a little bit easier. There's lots of other bits and pieces around here. There's like a book on the table there we can read, but I'm not going to be trying to read all the lore stuff because I already know what's going on here, and I don't want to give too much away if people want to figure it out for themselves. So we'll try and be at least a little bit restrained in how much we share unnecessarily here. Because this game is great, and if you like puzzle games at all, and you're able to handle the roguelike elements of it, there's some really interesting puzzles hidden away in this game. So, let's get in here. Now, if we look at our map, I don't know if this has started counting the rooms that we can or not go into yet, but if it's possible, we can only enter this room a single additional time. So we will have to be careful with that so we don't immediately fail our first dare. When you interact with a door in this game, it asks you what you want to draft out of it, and that will basically fill in this map with the things you want to add. So, because we want to try and avoid going back in and out of rooms in core areas of the house, we want to try and avoid putting dead ends down in places like this if they're not in a corner or somewhere else we can't go back to, because we will need to be very careful about where we place things. Let's put a bedroom down here. Bedrooms, hallways, there's a lot of different classes of room that'll become relevant as we go, but this just basically means that when we walk in it for the first time, we get 2 of our steps refunded. And every time afterwards we do so, we will also get 2 more steps refunded. But since we can't walk back and forth between rooms, that probably won't be happening very often. We're going to put a nook down here. The nook's a very nice room once you can get some upgrades for it later, which is possible, but for now it gives us a key, which will be helpful in case we come back this way and can open that box. Since it's locked, we can't open it directly, but we may be able to later. This is a little bit interesting here. I'm going to put the West Wing Hall down now because this can only spawn on the west edge of the house, and it's a perfectly useful way to get around right now. I'm a little dubious about going out of it. So in the bottom right there, beside where it says West Wing Hall, it has that little 1 marker that shows how many times we've entered the room. If that ever reaches 4 times, then we lose our run. So this is a dead end that we can place now, but we probably won't be able to go into it until we're coming back, because we can basically go 1 in, up, back 2, check the corner, that's 3. If we have anything else here we want to be able to come back to, then we shouldn't really have anything in the corner here. I'm going to put a room there just because we can. Let's put a closet. The nice thing about the closet is you can sometimes see what items it has for you from here. That looks to me like a keycard and a gem. The keycard might be valuable, but I can't be sure that's what it is. We'll come back and check it out later. First, we want to make sure we've actually covered the things that we need to explore before we start double entering our rooms unnecessarily. The corridor is always unlocked, which means you don't want to place it early like this. You want to place it up later in the house. As you get into later rows, things are more likely to be locked, requiring you to have keys or other ways to get through them. The patio's a pretty useful room, but because it has a benefit where it adds a resource to our other green rooms, we don't necessarily want to place it as our first green room. So we're going to place the spare room here, even though it doesn't really do anything yet, and see if it has anything interesting inside. And the short answer is no, it doesn't look like it. The garage is very much expected here. This is a room you'll normally find in about 4 to 6 on the west edge, but because I don't have a gem, I can't draft it. That's why gems are going to be valuable resources later. For the time being, we could go right here with the parlor to get more into this area of the house. We could drop a storeroom to get a gem, an extra key, and a little bit of money. But I don't know if I necessarily want to cut this section of the house off already. It might be worth it, because we can go back, grab a couple more items, and have a little bit more resources to head over here, but we are a little low on steps already, which is a little worrying. I think, just for the purposes of exploring right now, let's drop the storeroom here, grab our coin, our key, and our gem. And since it's a dead end, we're going to head back. Now we've got 2 entrances in the West Wing Hall. As soon as we enter this room... Oh, it's the rabbit's foot, not a key card. That makes sense. It didn't look quite right to me. This means we should be more likely to find interesting items in other rooms. And the gem will also make it easier for us to get into other rooms. Since we have a spare key here, we'll use it to open this trunk. What's inside here? Ah, 2 dice and 4 coins. Dice are useful because it'll let us re-roll the rooms that we would otherwise be forced into entering. You'll see now we have 2 entrances in the entrance hall, so we can only come into this room 1 more time, which is a little dubious. I'm going to place the pantry here, but I'm not going to go into it yet because we need to make sure what we're looking at on this side. We have a couple of good options here. Normally I'd just put the parlor down, but since this is our only viable doorway, I think I'm going to go ahead and put the hallway so that we at least could try and go up this way in case everything else doesn't work for us. So let's place down the hallway here. Because I'm placing this, it might be worth going up into the pantry, even though that's going to make our entrance hall immediately tick up to 3 steps in it. Let's give it a try. The nice thing about the pantry is it always has a little bit of money in it, and it almost always has some kind of food in it. Food is another way of regenerating steps, so it gives us a little bit more distance to our exploration here. The chapel is probably the go-to here. It's the only room that directs us north in our current list of options. And that's pretty important, since that's the only way to keep growing our house. So we'll drop the chapel down. Every time we walk into this building, it costs us 1 coin, which means we don't necessarily want to be running around through the room a lot, unless we do later. But since we're playing in a run where we can only enter a room a maximum number of 3 times anyway, turns out it doesn't really matter very much. Boudoir is a fun one because we have a little free prize in there we can get every time. Parlor has a little mini game in it that can give us a prize every time. And Observatory has stacking benefits the more times you go into it. So I don't really know which one we necessarily want right now, but I'm going to put the Observatory down just because we can. So in the observatory, there's 2 things we gotta do. 1, our giant telescope isn't aligned with actually looking outside yet. So we're gonna need to move things around to be able to use it. We have 1 wheel over here that helps control the angle of the telescope. But we also have a control at the bottom that lets us control the rotation. And it would seem like it's a pretty straightforward thing here to just point it at the big, obvious open space in the ceiling, but that's not what we're going to do first. First, we're going to point it the opposite direction, because there is a little secret in here that it took me a very long time to find the first time through. If we come up here now, with this facing the wrong way, we bring it down to our height. Turns out there's a little panel on the side here with an extra room in it. We can add this floor plan to our house, which will give us the ability to add the planetarium to our list of drafting options. I don't know how good the planetarium is going to be in this set of dares, but we'll take it anyway because it has some interesting features that we might be able to take advantage of later. Now that we've got that in the pool, we can swing back around downstairs and line it up like it's supposed to be. Now, I think it'll let us go over the top here to save us the distance. Nice. And now we can look through the telescope and find a single star. Our first star is not worth much. It gets us $1. But as we add more stars to the sky by coming back to this room again and again, it will gain larger constellations, which can have some pretty interesting effects in them. So we'll come back and take advantage of that later. If we head up north from here, we can go through the den, which will allow us to have 2 access points in case we dead-end ourselves over here and have to go back. So let's do that real quick. The den is a nice room. It's got a lot of doors. It has a guaranteed gem in it, and otherwise, we're not going to be spending too much time looking at this one. Hey, Onyx. Oh, hey, I'm getting bots again. What do you know? It's been a while. How do I get rid of this? how do the mod actions work in this stream dashboard? There we go. Got it. How's dare mode treating you? I've tried it once before and did not get very far. So we're trying it again here now. And hopefully it'll go better this time. We could put our planetarium down, but I don't want to come back this way, so we're going to put anything at the dead end. It'll definitely be the guest bedroom, because that'll let us get a little bit of a step reinvigoration. We can go back to the chapel, but I'm kind of tempted to just try and run as far as we can on this one, so we're going to drop the corridor down here, even though it's not a great place for it, just so we can try and keep moving through the house. Yeah, we have the don't revisit rooms dare, which is our first one. We're only on the first day so far. Code check doesn't do anything for us yet, so we're not going to go there. We could go parlor to get a gem, but I think I'm going to go boudoir and get a gem there instead. The boudoir has some interesting items you can grab from it. This will give us a little bit of extra money when we get money. The coin purse is fairly nice. And what may not be immediately obvious is if you come back around here, there's a safe hidden in it. So we are going to open that with a password that I will not explain how I got it either. You were lucky enough to get it after making a jackhammer on the first day. Oh, that is a nice start. We're not going to open that envelope so that people who don't know what's going on here won't necessarily have everything spoiled for them. But it is a relevant envelope. That's a nasty set of rooms. I want something that goes up, ideally. We have 2 dice. I could redraw here. If we go for the parlor, we're going to have to snake all the way around to be able to continue. I think it'll be better for us if we can just redraw something that either goes west or north, so that we're less likely to be pinned in. Well, that didn't work. Okay. I don't love burning both of my rerolls here. We can, but, like, don't love it. I'm gonna try again. Courtyard or gymnasium. Both of those are pretty good. Billiard room is also nice. The thing that's nice about the courtyard is it often has a useful tool in it. Billiard room does give us some additional keys, though, so I'm going to put this for now, because really what we need to do is go north. If we can go other directions, we'll figure that out later. We want to go back as little as possible, because there are things here that we'll need to go all the way back for, and that's already going to be a challenge, because we can't go back through the first room, which I just remembered. But whatever, we'll figure it out. So, the fun thing about this room, the billiard room has a puzzle in it. Every time you come in here, there'll be a dartboard puzzle. And the dartboard puzzles are a little obtuse if you don't know what you're looking at first. But the short version is that this first puzzle is 13, because the tile there is blue, which is an addition indicator. Here, because there's a 1 and a 3, it's 4. Here we have 18 to start, minus a 10, so that gives us an 8. And we have 18 minus 6, which gives us 12. On this side, we have 3 times 3, which gives us 9. Here we have 10 minus 4 for 6, times 3 for 18. Once you solve a couple of these math puzzles, you get a prize. Power hammer makes more sense, yeah, Smurf. That's the one that you'd want. We got ourselves the key to the secret garden. Very nice. It has been a while, hasn't it, Cookie? Nothing behind here? No, there usually isn't. Alright, what do we got options-wise? Very few options options-wise, but we can go to the other puzzle room. Let's head into the parlor and see what it's got for us. There are lots of interesting things that we're looking for as we travel around. That'll help make our future days easier while the game's already making them harder, but this room has a pretty simple logic problem in it. There's always at least one true box and at least one false box. This box and the white box are both empty, claims the black box. There is a second wind-up key in this room, claims the white box. We know this is false. The statement on the white box is true. We know this is false. So because this is false and this is false, this must be true. This box and the white box are both empty, and that means if we open the blue box, we should get a prize. Ta-da! 2 gems. Nice and easy. What are we looking at here? In the center row. So, since the door is locked, we now have to start using keys to open them. This may be a problem, because we only have 1. I was actually kind of hoping the billiard room would give us a regular key. The secret garden key is special, and as a result, it doesn't go here. You can't use it. Key does not fit. So, we'll have to do that later. Smurf, I'm pretty sure this puzzle always shows up on the first day, which means it's very unlikely you could have that upgrade by the time it comes here. I don't know what would happen if it did, but I think it's designed not to do that. Alright, we got a couple of options now. Laboratory is a very interesting one, so we're going to put it. It's also the best direction here. So let's drop one of these in and see what it gives us today. There are a lot of rooms here that have a lot of stuff in them, and it's not necessarily obvious at a first glance which things in some of these rooms are important. But for now, this computer is pretty important. Exactly, Smurf. The difficulty going up only happens when you're correct. And I don't know how many days there are. I know there's a bunch of different first day options, because doing the day one runs, you see that room a lot. But I don't remember exactly what we're looking at there. So when we come to the lab, we're able to basically apply a rule that'll modify how things happen in the house. And we have a couple of dubious options. One of them is every time we draft a red room, we lose more steps and then do one of these three things. Or the next 3 times you open a locked trunk, you do one of these 3 things. That one can be pretty nice, because there's a couple of ways to open that without using keys. Or just immediately do one of these 3 things. Add an additional dare to the dare list seems like a bad choice, because we're going to wind up with 4 of those anyway. We don't want more of them, and I don't think we want them faster, because they're going to make our life harder. Gain 3 gold for each red room in our house doesn't do a whole lot for us either. We don't want too many of these. We have 1 room right now, so we could get 3 gold, but that's not super useful to us. And setting the dice to 2 is probably going to be the most valuable option. And because we don't actually have any reliable way to open trunks or get back to them if they're not already open, I'm just going to do immediately set our dice to 2. Super boring experiment, but it gives us a benefit, and I don't know if I'd get a benefit from the other ones. So we touch the computer, and ding! Experiment successful. Now we have 2 more dice. Will we get to use them? We will find out. So, hey Allie, how are you doing today? Ah, great. This is what I was worried about. We don't have a viable key for this door. We cannot proceed. Which means we have to go all the way back to the chapel, and we can try and get out this way, but if that fails, we can't continue anymore, because that is the limit of access in this house. So we're going to have to go back through all of our existing rooms, spending another step every time, and then try our last remaining route. Normally, this would be not ideal because you'd be spending your steps, but now it is doubly not ideal because we're locking ourselves out of coming back through these ways. The commissary is not an excellent choice for now, but it goes to the left, and that's what we need. It costs us a gem, which is a little expensive right now, but is there anything good for sale? The sledgehammer is excellent. Running shoes would be normally good, but at this point in the run, it's unlikely to help us. Sleeping mask gives us a benefit every time we draft a bedroom. The sledgehammer lets us break open locked boxes and occasionally, potentially, do some other things. Running shoes has a chance to save you a step. We can go back through the chapel one more time, but we can't go back through the entrance room again. So we're still locked out of going outside again after this, so it's just going to be a matter of going where we are. Let's grab our sledgehammer just in case there's something fun we can use it with. And let's keep rolling. Well, we have one viable choice. Let's go into the gymnasium. Red rooms always have some kind of negative side effect, and the gymnasium makes it hard to walk around, because it costs you more steps every time you enter it. Those cart keys probably won't have a chance to be useful, but you never know, they might. We need a left turn. We have 2 left turns. The courtyard is one of my favorite rooms once you get a couple of synergies going with it. I'm a little worried about spending the gem on it, so I'm just going to put the dining room down here, even though it's less likely to actually do anything for us, because it doesn't cost anything and it still goes the way we need. The dining room is a very useful room. This little cloche will get opened up once you've reached the 8th row of the house, and it'll have food in it that will regenerate a bunch of your steps. But for now, we gotta keep rolling. Well, The kitchen is our only viable way to continue in the house, so we're going to the kitchen. We have 2 rerolls, which we may wind up using if we get something that doesn't let us proceed, like we get all dead ends on the next spot. But we have no money, so we can't take advantage of the benefit of this room as it stands. Security works. I don't love that it's costing me a gem, but I do love that it means that our wall is where we are open to, because if this room is locked, we can use our secret garden key here. So let's put the security room down and see if we can keep rolling. Security room has a cutscene the first time you walk into it. It is nothing special, it is just you walking up to a desk, so I'm skipping this one. Alright, now occasionally there's an item back there, but it looks like not today. We can access the computer in here, and I guess I will. It is fairly useful if it comes up. So in here we have the ability to modify how the keycards work, and what we basically want right now is low security and the offline mode set to unlocked. Will this become relevant? Probably not, but that way we will be able to have fewer security doors in the house, which are a different way of locking doors. And if we manage to turn the power off, then they'll be openable for free, which is nice. Security room forces you to take that just the first time? Yeah, because you have to walk in the cutscene direction. I don't know why that one needs a cutscene, but it do. I think it's really just there to imply that, like, people are watching you. You're not, like, completely, just to make you a little uncertain what's going on, you know? Alright, well, as I mentioned, there's almost always a tool in the courtyard. This time we got a metal detector. This gives us a better chance of finding keys and money in the rooms we explore for the first time. You won't retroactively add them back to rooms we've already been in, but it does give us a chance of finding stuff in rooms from now on, which will be great if we get to go to any. Now, thankfully, we have the secret garden key already, and we can put that here. Secret garden is a very nice room under normal circumstances. It is a little dubiously useful for us right now because we can't go back to take advantage of the fruit that it spread throughout the house, because that gives us a whole bunch of options of getting more food in previous rooms, but we can't do that, so we're not going to. We're going to pick up this broken piece of lever. I don't think we're going to get a chance to use that, but you never know. We know that there is something on the ground in here, because here it is. The metal detector will tell you when you are close to a potential pickup, even if it's not 100% clear what you can get. We are going to solve a puzzle here really quick, as best we can. It is not currently possible for us to do all the cool stuff that you could potentially do with this puzzle, but we can at least solve the first half of it. This is an incredibly important thing. This is a lever which opens one of the doors to the antechamber. We are far off from that, but when you come back to these later, if you come here without opening the lever, all of these doors are actually impassable. You have to open them via other means to be able to get in. Oh yeah, security room is important. It's got some good stuff in it. But it is weird that it has its own cutscene. That still does seem a little odd to me. We have a locked door. Please don't be locked. Okay, we're not locked out of the house yet. However, we only have one viable choice here, and it's the dark room. And that's not good for us, because when you draft a room out of the dark room, you are drafting blind. So that might make it difficult for us to proceed. We could try and redraw, but we don't have any gems. I'm just gonna YOLO this at this point, and we'll see what it does for us. We'll put the dark room down. And it seems pretty bright. Unfortunately, as soon as we step in, the power goes out. And now when we try and draft out of here, even if the doors are unlocked, which one is, we cannot see what we're drafting. So if one of these is a dead end, it is almost certainly game over. So, let's test our luck and try the left. It's a dead end, unfortunately. But if there's a key in here, we might be able to proceed. It sounds like our metal detector just found that coin, though, which means... no, we are scuppered. There is no way for us to proceed here. This door is locked, and this door is locked, and this door is locked. So there's no way for us to proceed from here. So... basically then, we're just going to need to wind up calling it a day directly, because if we don't, and we try and wander around the house, we would normally have 21 steps until we ran out of the ability to move, because we just got 10 more from drafting the guest bedroom. But since we can't walk back through a room without potentially ruining everything, that's not a good idea. So we're going to end our day in the guest bedroom. It's a perfectly reasonable place to end your day, and see what new problem is going to be introduced tomorrow. Unfortunately, we don't get to keep any of our stuff. None of this room layout is retained, and there's plenty of things that we'd like to have been able to do that didn't happen yet, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Call it a day. There is one thing we could have done. No, Smurfton, the guest bedroom doesn't do anything. It's just normal. We get a little description of our house. It's called a prosaic villa. Seems a little rude if you ask me, but okay. And we enter day 2. Now we get to find out what our second dare is. And because we went to the orchard yesterday, we start with 70 steps today. The steps are a little less valuable since we can't run through the houses easily, but you will find you always need steps, so we'll make good use of them anyway. The second dare is... always have at least 20 steps. Well... good thing that we just got 20 additional steps, right? I haven't seen that one before. Interesting. So now if we ever hit... is it less than? At least 20? Yeah. If we ever hit less than 20 steps, that'll cause us to immediately lose as well. So we'll have to be careful about that. Let's take a look over here again. We want to try and avoid coming back through this room as much as possible, because we will potentially need to come through here later. So we're going to drop the den and try to make our best use of the rooms we have access to. If we need to put a dead-end room, a corner like this is a good place to put it, so we'll drop the closet for now, see if it's got any useful items in it, and keep rolling. Well, we have a gem and a dice, not too bad. Resources are always valuable. The breaker box is fun, but again, I don't really like immediately boxing ourselves out here and having to go back into the entrance hall. I think I'm just going to put the spare room down and see if we can do anything else over here first. Excuse me. Alright, what do we got? We are really not getting the kinds of things that I want. We could put a corridor down and try and just tunnel our way up the house. It's not terrible. Utility closet has some very useful things in it, so putting it down might not be terrible, though. Yeah. Alright, that's fine. I would have liked to go left here. I don't love going up again. I'm just going to go ahead and put the utility closet down because it'll let us get what we want immediately, even if it does mess up our house. So, There's a couple different options in here. We can turn off the keycard system, which basically unpowers it and makes it completely unusable unless you go to the security room and tell it to be unlocked by default. But I'm just going to leave it on right now because I don't have any control over it. We have 3 switches here. If we turn the garage power on, something may be happening in there. We'll hopefully get to go see it. If we turn the gymnasium power off, it no longer costs steps, and the dark room is a lie. So, remember how the dark room power starts on, and the second you walk into it, it turns off? This is where you can go to turn the lights back on so you can see what's happening in there. There's always an item to pick up. It lets you disable its negative effects, but you have to draft it and walk into it before this works. And since we can't walk around the house, it's going to be hard to take advantage of that. The other thing we got is these buttons. Now, we'll see if I can remember how to work the buttons. But long story short, these buttons do things when you click them. They'll turn green. You'll notice that one turned blue. And we can turn them purple also. I think it is... Oh, am I forgetting already? Hold on a second. We need to make all of the lights purple. And I believe the way we want to do that is like this. You want greens next to your blues. So you can turn everything blue, and then... What is the next step? I remember the test system is a different thing too. There's a couple of different codes that are in here, and I don't remember how to do the purples. Is it red becomes purple? Yeah. I don't remember how to do it though. Red, purple. Red, purple. The other one's there, and purple. Now we've got purple. This allows us to now make white. And white is not supposed to be in that spot, so I don't know why I just put it there. Let's turn it back so we can do it correctly. Red goes here. We're gonna make everything purple again, because I I forgot what I was doing. It's fine. It's fine. We'll get there. It'll just take a little longer. Don't mind me. Red, purple. Do I want tips and solutions, or am I expecting chat to say spoiler free? I'm asking mostly just because it's happening. I have done this before, so it's less about trying to solve it and more about just talking through what's happening. Because this is the white tile, and then I believe we need red here, and purple on this one, which means I think I did it backwards. Like this. Then we need... green there and off. And surprise! Turns out that wall is false. Behind it is a giant cartoonish electrical switch. Which opens up another permanent upgrade for us. Now we've opened up the gemstone cavern. That'll give us 2 additional gems every day, which is lovely. Alright, let's get out of here. Yeah. Clearly I don't remember quite as much how to do that. I haven't actually played this game in a while. What is the genre point of this game? It's to get to the antechamber with the doors open and enter room 46. So it's a little bit of a roguelike exploration-y game. It's a major series of puzzles that I'm kind of bypassing because I've done them all before. And it is otherwise a good time. Unfortunately, the entrance hall being on 3 checks already means we are in trouble. can we try and explore this house more before ruining our day? We will find out. Thankfully, we don't actually have to go over to the gemstone cavern to take advantage of its unlock. So we will probably just try and make it as far in the house and maybe get some other benefits for us before we run into another dead end. We could secret passage here, but I don't love that. I'm just going to put the guest bedroom to give us some additional steps and maybe an extra little item, and then we'll see if we can go through the parlor. That might be a mistake, but at this point, we'll figure it out. There's another gem, which will give us the ability to draft more of the rarer rooms. Rooms can cost between 1 and 3 gems to draft, so they're a pretty important resource. Got an apple, which will give us a little bit of extra steps. And another wind-up key. So what's our puzzle today? This box is the middle box. That's definitely false. The gems are in the middle box. Possibly true. And this box is the middle box. Definitely false. So there's always a false and a true box. Since both the edges are definitely false, the gems are in the middle box. Lovely. We'll take that, and we'll keep rolling. Security is actually decent here. It gives us the ability to loop back into some of these rooms and maybe get some other resources, and the ability to go forward into the house, so let's place that in. The key from the Nook would also be nice. We are going to be running into key problems soon. Let's see what we got here on the east wing. All of our rooms point south, which is not ideal, but we can get a Nook going, so let's take that key and keep rolling. We are going to run into problems with them, if we don't. Not ideal. Let's place the chapel down, because it doesn't matter if it's here. We're not going to be going back through it again very much. And we have no money currently, so we have nothing to lose. You'll notice that, like, when you pick up the metal detector, you can occasionally find coins, like, in between some of the chairs. But if you don't have a metal detector, it will never spawn anything on the ground in random places like that, so you don't have to worry about it. We could go bedroom to try and get something else, and then go down there. Bunk room is most beneficial when you have anything that synergizes with bedrooms, because it triggers them twice. So I think for now, I'm just going to place the storeroom. We could bedroom and then something else there instead, because we're going to be coming back up this way anyway. So it basically just makes it cost no steps. But I want the keys, because we're going to need them later. So I'm going to let there be an empty space in our house in exchange for the key and the gem, which will hopefully keep us alive longer. The coin goes away instantly. Yeah, I love this game. I think it looks really cool. I think it has very interesting ideas. The puzzles are fascinating. I'm a big fan. I put like 120 hours in this game already. So here's the dark room. We could open this room. Just despite toggling the power back on in the utility closet, though, it'll immediately go out again, and we can't go through the entrance hall, so we can't turn the power on again, so we're not going to try. We're going to go to the lab and see if it has an interesting experiment for us, because there are some neat ones in here. Is there anything for us to steal? Doesn't look like it. So let's turn the computer on and see what it's doing. What are our experiments today? Whenever we draft an archive floor plan, we're not going to try and do that, because the only way to get it is to draft the archives room, which means you can't tell what you're drafting, and in this format with our current DARE, that's not good. Every time we unlock or bypass a security door, could be a better one. We're in the room that determines the security doors, but I didn't turn the power off because I didn't know how likely we were to see security, so they're not disabled, so it's not a good plan for us. And the other one is immediately, so I guess we're doing this. We can spread dirt on the driveway. Unfortunately, we can't get back to the driveway because we can't go outside, so that's not going to work. We could add an additional dare, or we can gain 1 key gem or die, so I guess we're doing this one. We could hope for the key card, it's true, Smurf. It's not impossible to get to the security doors, but I don't trust it. I'm just going to take the immediate payment. Normally, that's not what I'd go for. So this could be a mistake, because I'm still trying to figure out how the dare mode should or shouldn't adjust your behavior. But for now, we're going to keep rolling. So, we need to go either west or north, which means our only viable options are the corridor to go west or the kitchen to go north. We have no money, so I don't really want to go to the kitchen yet. If we can save it and we need steps later, then we can use it then. Let's go to the corridor. I'm a little worried that if we get to this position, it's going to be the garage is the main thing it wants us to put, but let's go to the corridor and see what it's got. In here, what do we have? Nothing. Nothing of interest, it's just a hallway. So it goes. Well, looks like we're going to this position. We could either go with the rumpus room or the dining room. Rumpus room has an interesting thing in it, but we're not going to be looking at it today. And dining room kind of wastes one of its doors, but at least it's free, so I guess I'll put it down. Oh, Betrayal at House on the Hill. Yes, Allie, that is definitely the game you're thinking about because you build the house with tiles in a very similar looking way to this. Yeah, that is also a game I love. Alright. Well, we're going to the bedroom. It's the only door that doesn't dead-end us. The garage would be great, but I cannot put it here because that would be the end of our house. We did turn the power on, though, so maybe I go here anyway? It kills our house, but it gives us another potentially really useful benefit, except for the fact that we can't go back through rooms multiple times. So it's actually really hard to use. On second thought. That's not so good, is it? We might need it in order to finish the game, though. So I guess we're gonna put it? I'm kind of vacillating a little bit here, because I don't like killing this, but we have it turned on, and that's actually really important. So, this room always has a couple of keys in it, which is nice. It's got this old-timey car in it, and occasionally has some other bits and pieces. It'll occasionally have, like, holes in the ground that you can dig things out of. It's got a note there. If we come with the car keys, we can open up the front seat and the trunk, but we don't have the car keys. But the important thing is because we turned the power on, we can open the garage door. Exactly, lame. I'm thinking from the usability from the access side. That allows us to come out the west side of the house, so we can tour back around here. This bridge is only accessible once you've actually drafted a garage, otherwise it's just a little river here. And most importantly, this lets us do two things. One is open this door. You think you could just reach through and pull the pin out, but nope, you've got to come through it the right way. Now the west gate is permanently unlocked, which will let us come over to this door outside the house. And this door is pretty useful. I think what we're going to be doing... Yeah, I know, Smurf. That's the thing I'm a little unsure about. I don't know if dare mode automatically bypasses beginner mode. I didn't think to double check that. If it didn't, we can't get the thing we want right now. But I'm gonna re-roll for it anyway, because we only have one re-roll and no more rooms we can go in. So what's in here? That's the one we wanted! Yeah! Perfect! So there's some really interesting rooms in here. The tomb is the one we wanted the most. So let's go into the tomb. Oh, that's a good point, Smurf. Yeah. If you, it's guaranteed to show up if you go in fast mode or something, right? I can't remember exactly how it works anymore. So this is a huge area with a bunch of interesting, figures in it. It's got some lore lying around. Lots of things in here that are interesting, and we're going to make use of a couple of them. One of the things is there's always some money here, and every time you draft a dead end, it'll put more money here if you come back to it later. That part doesn't actually help us. The part that does help us, I think starts here? It's guaranteed to not show up in baby mode for the first draw. Yeah, something like that. It's been a while since I've done this part, so we'll see if I can remember exactly how you're supposed to do it. But I think what we do is we click you, and then you, I might have gotten the first step wrong. I might have been supposed to start with the farmer there. I'm pretty sure you end on the one with the crown. In fact, I think I did it wrong again already. I am out of order with doing this properly. Yeah, we definitely don't do it like that. Alright, let's put you all back up and do it properly. Let's fix that and do it again. You can tell I haven't done this in a while. So we hit this one, then this one. Alright, let's do it for real this time. So, if we go around the room, basically in order, and end on the one with the crown, that will give us what we need. I believe it's you next. Hopefully we won't waste too much time on this. I'm operating a little bit on the... excuse me. On the memory of how this works. Hey, there we go. Secret door opened. Now, we don't have all the tools that would potentially let us do more things down here, but for now, we can come down this way. Find an ominous-looking friend here. Piece of torn map. And if we interact with their hand, they'll open another door for us. Nothing over here at the moment, but there's more to some of these rooms than meets the eye. We're not going to worry about all of that right now, but we're going to come over here and do something very important, which is drag this cart. Right now, we can come in this tunnel, but there's really nothing to do here. It has an interesting room in it, but we can't actually interact with it. However, we can drag this minecart, which is extremely important. Job's a good one. Alright. Whose idea was it to place this massive arrow in the catacombs? Right? Very weird decision. So, we can come in here, and it has a fun upgrade disc looking item in it, but unfortunately, I don't think we can get anywhere to use it, because we'll have to go back into the house. We might be able to get back into the lab, actually. Okay, hold on. We can probably use that. Can't do anything else in there for now. I think that's the only thing we can actually access from here. If we come out this way, we're in the reservoir now, there's a boat there that in theory you could take across to the other side, except the dock is underwater, so that's not going to work. And over this way, I think we can walk over here safely? Yeah. There's another staircase full of water. So we'd have to do something to change... impact the water to be able to do anything in there, which isn't currently possible, but might change in the future. We're going to roll our way back upstairs and put that disc to work. Because that actually does let us make use of some of the steps we've still got and get us some nice benefits. Tour our way back out of the tomb. And we do not go through the gate, we go back across the little bridge. So, upgrade discs are super useful. They're hidden in various places in the game, like there's one in here that we can't access yet. And every time you have one, they don't actually do anything on their own until you get to a computer. I don't think there's an upgrade disc in the gem cavern. I think going in the gem cavern just lets you turn on the burner and also lets you pick out extra gems if you want to risk breaking the gem cavern. The burner is relevant, but let's upgrade the floor plan. There's a paper in there too, yeah. Okay, we're updating the guest bedroom. So every time you bring a disc, it'll give you an option of a specific room that you can choose to upgrade. And It'll give you 3 choices that you can pick between. The guest bedroom does a random thing, and I think... So when I did it last time, I picked the quest bedroom. The quest bedroom still gives you 10 steps, but it also gives you 2 allowance money if you get to the antechamber on the day. And that's really cool, terrible for this run. This is awful. No good. But very fun in the long run, because allowance is money you start with at the start of every day. So in a long game normally, it's really nice. The Geist bedroom gives us additional dice, and if you have the tomb, you get a whole pile of dice, but it's going to be a little bit harder for us to actually get the additional dice, because it's going to be hard for us to be able to go outside. So, a little dubious as to whether or not that's a great choice. I don't actually know what the guest bedroom does. I think it makes you try and guess which bedroom it is after you walk into it, but I don't know. I don't know. The thing about the quest bedroom, and why it might actually still be decent, is it gives us the steps directly, because we have to remember we can never go below 20 steps this run, otherwise we're toast. So, that is a consideration, whether or not it's one we want to actually, like, use. We still have a ton of steps at this point, and we can't walk around the house very much, so we're probably not going to be that low on steps. So, yeah, I think we're going to take the guest bedroom. Geist bedroom gives you 2 dice, which is really good in this mode, because you need to not get stuck in a corner. So that's pretty good, but the guest bedroom also includes some wild benefits from other late game secret bedrooms. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this one for now. We're going to take the guest bedroom. And I'm curious to see what it does. Alright, now we have the guest bedroom. Yeah, the bot is not currently on. I still have it. I can bring it back if I so choose, but it is not here currently. And now we can't go back out this way, because we can't go through the entrance hall. So I think we are basically done. Just for the sake of wandering around, we can come back out this way. Back outside. We're on the 3rd step for all these locations, so it should be safe. We can come back to the driveway. How are we on 3 on the grounds? Hold on. How are we on 3 steps on the grounds? We haven't gone outside at all in this area. Regardless, I'm throwing a penny in the well. Or the fountain, rather. You think all of the grounds is shared? I don't think that's true. I guess maybe it is. Yeah. I guess that makes sense. Because if it wasn't, walking back and forth in here would be a big problem. Because, like, all of these areas would have their own counters. We're going to lock ourselves in the gems and then stop here forever. Yeah, I see that. Well, what I came here to do was to turn this valve. That'll light another one of our torches here. Whether or not we actually get all of them lit in a reasonable amount of time is low, but we're going to be sleeping in the gemstone cavern for tonight because it is not worth going outside. There's nothing else in here as far as I know, just gems in the walls and paper on the floor. But we're going to end the day in here. Let's find out what our third dare is. I have tried dare mode one time before. It was a cozy cottage. And I gave up on like day 7 because I wound up with a set of 4 dares that I really did not believe was going to be super possible. It probably was possible, but it really was not fun, so I gave up on it. Because we had, you can't see the blueprint, so you can't look at the map ever, and you can't enter a room more than 3 times, and you can't take elevators and something else. And it was just like, oh, this isn't fun. What is our dare for today? Our third dare is... dare you to end each day with at least 1 gem. Okay, so that means we have a big issue if we ever try and, like, gamble on our last gem, because if we don't get another one, then the day is lost and we lose all the progress we made. So I don't love that. Let's see what we could do here, though. I guess we'll take the den, get our gem count up, and start our exploration here. Well, we have the guest bedroom. I don't know how it works yet, so I want to draft it and find out what's in here. Did anything happen? I feel like we have the same number of steps as we did when we walked in. So it's not likely to be the bedroom because we didn't gain 2 steps. It has a key in it, so it could have been the servants' quarters. Because the servants' quarters gives you a key for every bedroom in the house, and we did have a key on the table here. So I think it's probably this. It's probably not the hovel. It's definitely not the nursery. I think it has to be the servants' quarters. We'll find out if I'm right or not. I don't know what that means. Plus question mark? What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know what just happened. Cool. It didn't tell us what the prize was. Yeah, I know that, but like... the prize was on the desk already, so I'm pretty sure I already got it. Weird. Alright, we'll take it. It's fine. Oh, the gems went up? I didn't see the gems go up. You're right, we were at 2 gems and now we're at 5. Good call, I missed that. Alright, let's keep rolling. We could place another bedroom down, go up the left-hand wall. We don't need the garage so much anymore. The garage can only spawn over here and is almost guaranteed to show up in the 4, 5, or 6 slots. It's not so important anymore. Hallway's probably better here because we want to try and avoid going through the entrance hall as much as we can. So let's place this and see where else we can go. I don't love that. I don't love that. Corridor does let us keep exploring, but I don't like spending it so early. We can use it when we need keys later. Closet will give us an item or 2, but I mean, we'll go back to the hallway again. And nursery will give us more steps for the future, but we're not using steps very quickly, so that's already a little bit of a dubious gem spend right now. Especially in an open hallway position like this. I think we're just going to put the closet and find out if we get something fun and probably try and get our way over here to this side of the house. Is it a good choice? I don't know, but I'm going to do it anyway. Gem and a key. We'll take it. I do need some keys, because those are usually problems for us. Now, that's not my favorite list of options here. Passageway is potentially good, but we don't really take advantage of all the doorways if we're spending 2 gems on it. So I'm thinking I'm going to put the dining room just so we can go north, because that's more important at the moment, I think, than spending those gems. This is a room we're unlikely to be able to get the benefit of, so we might as well take advantage of its doors. Courtyard is a lovely room, but not in a corner like this, so I think it's going to be pantry or bedroom. Either of these are fine, so I'm going to go pantry. It'll give us an extra snack and a couple of coins, which we might be able to use later. Got an apple. There's 3 different kinds of fruit: apples, oranges, and bananas, and they're all worth different amounts. The drawing room's a nice one to get. It doesn't make a huge difference right now, but I'm going to draft it anyway because we haven't drafted it before, and we can get ourselves a nice little benefit. If we click on this... Ta-da! Another hidden safe. I will also open this one, but I will not explain why the password is what it is, so you can try and figure it out if you are going to play this game. Gonna ignore the letter. Okay. I think we'll try and go down first. My usual instinct is always to try and fill as much of the house as possible. But, chapel's fine here, I guess. That isn't always a great choice in this mode. Because as we start walking around, we start locking ourselves out of parts of the house because I wandered through them twice. And I can't resist. I can't resist! I gotta walk through them twice. So, let's see what's down here at the bottom. We've got nothing that connects back to the entrance hall, so that's interesting. Parlor's a good choice to get another pair of gems. Storeroom's another good choice because it'll give us the key. I think we're gonna go parlor here just because it'll get us into the bottom corner, which this one might not. And we'll see what it's got in it. Right now, it just has, oh, a magnifying glass. That can be handy. And a wind-up key. What is our parlor game today? You are in the parlor. That's true. This box is empty. Possibly true, possibly false. The blue box is true. That is true, which means this has to be false, which means the gems are in here. These puzzles do get really hard. The math puzzles get harder, but I feel like they get harder in a way that is always, like, pretty reasonable, whereas some of these ones get real mean. Not so good at them. Let's go through the bedroom here so we don't get stuck in the corner, because we can potentially loop around back up to the north, which would be handy. Ooh, sleep mask. The sleep mask gives us more steps every time we enter a bedroom with it, so it won't trigger here unless we go back into this room, but it will be nice if we have to draft any future bedrooms. We have security again. Security is a useful room. It's the only one that's not a dead end back into the chapel, so I guess we'll take it. It always freaks me out a little bit when you see a door open because you didn't touch it, but it's just, it'll do that every time you open a door that is connected to another room. Alright, let's activate the security system here. Set the security level to low. Change the offline mode to unlocked. There's another option in here, which can be sometimes useful. If we're at that computer, we also have the ability to check if there's anything on the floor that we've missed. And currently there's not, but it is a useful option sometimes. It is also a computer, so if we get an upgrade disc, we can potentially bring it back there. This is the dead end, though, so we're going to draft our storeroom and we're going to zip our way out of here. Is there a way of lowering the visit counts? No, that is just a problem that we have to deal with forever in this run because we rolled that dare. There is no way to unvisit a room. This could be a good passageway spot. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. We still need access to the whole north part of the house, and there's a lot of house left. It's the 3 visits that make these scary now. Because if you go 1, 2, 3, then you're locked out of another time. So you can go through each door once if you have 3 visits. Which, not great if it's your only way back into the rest of the house. We have 1 redraw here because the drawing room lets you roll again. I don't know if I want to do that, though. I might just take the one that's less likely to lock us out of the house. Yeah. Alright. What do we got over here? Locked door. What do we got over here? Locked door. What do we have over here? A locked door. Well, I figured out what we have. We have 3 locked doors. Thankfully, we have 3 keys, so we should be able to at least open some of them. Ooh, that's a dubious place for a lab. It's not actually terrible, but not for reasons that are going to be useful to us right now, I don't think. I could put it, it's not bad. The terrace making green rooms not costing anything to draft is very nice, because there are some expensive green rooms that are so nice when they're free. But let's go ahead and drop the lab here, just in case. Just in case. Inside here, doesn't look like there's anything fun, so let's see what our experiment is. What do we got? When you draft a hallway from another hallway, do something. Each time you unlock or bypass a security door, do something. And whenever you draft a shop, do something. This is potentially a very useful one for this run, because it's going to be kind of tricky for us to get allowance through other means. Steps to 40 shouldn't matter. Gain 1 key for every 2 hallways in the house. That one could also be pretty good, because keys are going to be a problem for us pretty quickly here. I feel like my little greedy goblin brain loves permanently add 1 gold to your allowance. I just don't know which I want to connect it to. We could do shops, because I don't think we've drafted any shops yet, so there's still a good number of them in the draft pool. And that would potentially let us stockpile a little bit of starting money, which could be nice. I think I'm going to try that. I think gain 1 key for every 2 hallways in your house is probably the better choice for this individual run, but I am a sucker for things that allow you to get allowance. Alright. Do we immediately get snookered? Let's find out. If we go up to here... What is it? Ooh, I don't love the archives. No, thank you. Let's go to the corridor, because it'll always be unlocked. Let's go to the next one and see what there is. We could go to the spare room, but I know this door is locked, so I'd love to get at least a unlocked option before we get stuck. We have the office. Office is another good room. We're going to go here now. It has a couple of useful things in it. One is it has a guaranteed upgrade disc. And that's pretty good. The other thing it has is a secret hidden safe, which we'll go open in a minute. So first, let's go stick this disc in here. We get to upgrade the Nook. Lovely. So, on my first playthrough, I turned this into the breakfast Nook. because the breakfast nook gives you free bacon and eggs in addition to the key, which is a food item that I don't remember exactly. I think it gives you 10 food and allows you to draft the morning room. And the morning room is another green room. I love green room synergies. Turns out that was a lot of fun. I don't know what the best choice is now, though, because steps are unlikely to be a real big problem for us just because of the fact that we can't walk around the house. So the bacon and eggs gets a little bit less valuable when traveling is less important. The library doesn't really do much. Exactly, lame. The morning room gives you a lot of gems, and that's pretty good. Just 2 keys is fine. But, like, I think the reading nook doesn't really help us. And the morning room still will. So I think I'm going to take it, even though it's maybe not the right choice, but I like the breakfast nook, so we're putting it in. Okay, next up, we got to come over here. Part of the challenge with all these safes is trying to figure out what the game wants you to do with them. Trying to, like, figure out what the combination is hard enough, but, like, what are you trying to use to get it? In this case, though, I believe the combination is this. Yeah, good, I remember. And another gem. Thank you very much. So we want to find some shops. Any shop we can draft, we want to draft. Pool is excellent here. Gymnasium isn't turned off right now, but it also has more doors. But pool is really good. Pool gives us access to a couple of other rooms that are going to be very valuable to us. And that's not great, but hopefully the other one's unlocked. So, in the pool, we can't really do anything right now, but having drafted it adds some pool-related rooms to the options. Sauna is one of them, but it's not the one we want right now. I think I'm going to put the breakfast nook in immediately. Get our bacon and eggs, because doors are what we're looking for, and this one, again, only has one of them pointing into the wall. So let's breakfast nook it up and see what happens. Right, Eisen? The tactical call of making it difficult to tell if the door was actually open or not. Grab our key, which we definitely need, and our bacon and eggs. 10 food and our morning room. Now, I believe the morning room can only be drafted on the outside edges of the house. I'm not 100% sure about that one, but I think that's the case. Dark room could be fine here, except for the fact that we only have one viable door. So we're going to place the locker room, because at least we can see where we're going from there. So that's the only real choice we've got. This room has a bunch of lockers in it, and you can unlock them if you have keys. Drafting this room puts keys all back throughout the house, but we can't really go and get them, can we? So we won't. We'll just look longingly at all these fun things we could open that could have items in them. Thankfully, that's unlocked, and that's excellent. So this is why the morning room's so good. It gives you 2 gems right away, but also it means that on the next day after drafting this, you start with an additional 2 gems. So it's basically 2 gems for this run and a buff for your next run. So that's why the morning room is so good. And because it's a green room, it benefits from some fun green room synergies. A safe deposit box key. Nice. I don't know if we're going to be able to use that. It also has an upgrade disc in it. So ideally, we'll be able to run back to the office after we're done here and go cash that one in, because it's still connected and we've only been through all these rooms once. So that'll be nice. But let's see what else we can do over here first. We only have 1 key left, but we're going to use it. I guess we West Wing Hall. Coat check could be nice to put that deposit box key we just got in it, but I think that's unlikely to work for us. So I'm just gonna put the West Wing Hall and see if we can maybe get any shops. Any shops would be great, so I could get some of this allowance here. Veranda's fine, but I don't like spending both gems. We have to end with at least one gem, so we're gonna put the West Wing Hall. We just need to hope one of these doors isn't locked. Please don't be locked. Hey, it's not locked. We could put the spare room, which goes back into the pool, but we're not going to do that. We're putting the commissary for our free allowance. Ding! Allowance has been raised. So if we go in this room, that's going to put our West Wing Hall up to 2. I think we're just going to not go in here. It doesn't have anything super valuable to us, because we probably can't use any of the things that it's selling. And if we do go in there, we may just loot. Well, okay, we will go in there, because if it sells keys, we might be able to open one more door before we're stuck. So, do you sell keys today? No. You sell hammer, metal detector, gems, and salt. Well, alright, time to go cash in our upgrade disc, and that'll be all we can do this day. I think we might be... No, because that door's also locked. So yeah, we're stuck. Man, we might not be stuck, because if we go back behind this room, the chance is that we've actually put a key in the room. So we may be able to unstick if we get very lucky and find one of those keys before we go so far that we can't come back again. There's one. Alright, we'll see if we can get more than one. Let's plug our upgrade disc back in. The storeroom. This is one of the least interesting upgrades in my opinion. The storeroom upgrades are 1 additional key, 1 additional gem, or 9 additional money. And I am pretty convinced that 1 additional key is just the best one of these. For me, at least. The gem is nice, but we have a couple of other ways of getting bonus gems. The money is okay, but eventually money stops being much of a problem at all. Keys are always a problem. So we're going to take the one that gives us more keys, because keys are really useful. Alright, now we can potentially try and run back through here, but the passageway is already at 2. So the only other room we can really check to see if it has a key in it is the corridor before we need to go back up to the West Wing Hall and see if we can continue the house at all. So I'm going to check it, just in case. But this is the final one we can go back to. It does have a key. Very nice. Alright, let's get out of here. We are now in the danger zone. All of these rooms are no longer accessible to us. This one should also be on 3. Yeah. What is in here? Courtyard's great here. Let's place that. The shop would be nice, but it would lock us out, and the courtyard does not necessarily lock us out. Unfortunately, we got no tool in here, which is bad luck. I feel like you usually get something. Is this locked? No. That one gives us the coat check, the pump room. That's what we want. The pump room is great. Every day the count resets, Ellie. Pump room is excellent here. If they're all dead ends anyway, pump room lets us do some useful stuff. Okay, so this thing has a couple of vats of water and some buttons. And we are going to need to spend some time in here messing with these switches, because remember how the reservoir was at the wrong water level? We can fix that now. We can change a bunch of things here. The only thing that I don't remember, which might be a problem that I need to get a bit of assistance on, is how much we have to lower the reservoir water level for the boat to work. I think it's 2 dots, but I don't remember. Yeah. If someone knows, can you remind me how much I have to reduce the reservoir by? Because I don't remember. In the meantime, am going to fill up the greenhouse and play with the water levels. Come on. We can use all of these levers to move water from the rooms that they're currently in into the storage vats. And once they're there, we can then move them out into other rooms. So there's always a little bit of like jank to these for me. I'm always a little uncertain which one's actually going to do what I want. But one of the things we want to do is we want to fill up the greenhouse. So if we flip these to reverse, you should see that the greenhouse will fill back up. Now we can keep draining the pool. And we can also fill the kitchen. No, it's down into the kitchen and also down this one. And this one? I'm always a little uncertain what's going to actually make it do what we want. No, it doesn't want to go. But I would like you to go to the kitchen, please. If I switch this, it'll probably just move the 2 water. But that's not what we want, which is a little annoying. Alright. Let's go ahead and refill one of these vats. Oh yeah, chlorinated pool water is excellent for our greenhouse. Exactly, Ginger. It's excellent for the greenhouse, it's excellent for the kitchen. Now I think this is too much water. I think I need to only take out 2 bars here. But I don't properly remember, which is a little bit of a pain for this. It's been a while since I've done this one. Only 1 bar of water. Okay, well that's easy enough then. In that case, we just put this back. That's the wrong direction. I needed to go down. Alright. You're already down. One of these will drain. And should refill that back to 1 away from full. Yeah, I don't want to access the other thing right now, Lim. We can't. I seem to recall that the only way to do that is to power up this vat. Otherwise, there's not enough free-floating space. Oh, no, the other thing is accessible right now. You're right. That's not what I'm trying to do, though. I'm not trying to go there. What we are trying to do is leave the greenhouse full, the kitchen full, the reservoir at -1, and the pool would be fun if it was empty, but I can't get there, so we're going to leave. I could open that, but if this is locked, I will wish I didn't. It is locked, so I'll open it. Well, we could try to go further into the house here. The thing is, we could try to get a vault, but that takes more gems. Yeah. Lamb, I know what you're talking about. I realized the mistake I was making. The other one is accessible with this amount of water, but is not where we're trying to go right now. I might just put the laundry room here to get us another allowance coin, because one allowance coin's a little sad. And I can't guarantee that if we draft these, we'll be able to actually open the door. I think we just put the laundry room and end the day. We've done some useful stuff here. We got an upgrade disc, we got our pump room placed. I think it's probably better not to beef it and get nothing, so I'll spend 1 gem here on the laundry room, and we'll take the extra allowance dollar. So this room's fun. If you come in here, you can access the laundry machines, and they will let us access the spin cycle, which turns all of your gems into all of your money. It swaps them 1 to 1. You can wash and dry, which costs 5 and turns all your keys into all of your gems 1 for 1. Or you can spend 10 coins and swap all your keys with all of your money for 1 to 1. Interesting options. We have no good way to use them right now. I don't really like this room. It's really powerful if you do the right things with it. I just don't like it. So that is going to be the end of our day. We're going to have to take a nap in the laundry room because we can't really travel back through the house anymore. And yeah, Ali, some of the changes like this stay across days. Same with opening the West Gate Path, opening the Gemstone Cavern, opening the Apple Orchard, getting the upgrade discs. There's a bunch of things like that that do last across multiple days. And changes made in the pump room are one of them. So, we're going to call it a day over here and see what our third dare is. Who knows what it'll be? We have another prosaic villa. Weird that there's not been any new terms. We have a bunch more hallways, a bunch more... Well, I guess that makes sense. It's mostly blue rooms. Not a lot of bedrooms, not a lot of green rooms, not a lot of shops. Fair enough. Because the graphic that you get there and the name that it gives you will reflect the way you've built up your house. So, given that it's kind of been a couple of weird houses, it makes sense that we haven't got any interesting titles yet. The final dare. What is going to be the last thing that's added to our rule set? This is also probably going to have to be the final day of this for me. Allowance, thank you. Now we get 2 coins at the start of every day. What is our final dare? Oh, this is the other one that I had on my last run. This is like very close to... These 2 were in my first set of dares too. We can never have more than 2 special items in your inventory. And I'm pretty sure that just means we can never carry more than 2 things. And that sucks. That's not fun. Now we can't even pick up loot if we find it. It's only like dice, keys, gems, and coins that we can pick up. And you need items to make some of the most useful tools. They take 3 items. And we can't make them ever now because we can't walk back around through the house to get them. We might be boned again. I don't know if I can do this now. One of the things that is really useful is being able to make a power hammer, which takes a sledgehammer, a battery, and a broken lever. And because it takes 3 pieces, we can now never make it. And I think that just means we're stuck. We can get underground if we go make the tomb and then go specifically there to take the boat across, or we go back and we drain the well, but we won't be able to use the well for a while. And that just sucks. That sucks so bad. It means it's hard to take advantage of so many things. I don't know, man. That's a pretty mean set. There's some other mean combinations that I know can happen. But not being able to go back through rooms and not being able to carry things is so rough. Let's see what we can do here today, and we'll see if we can maybe make something happen. But I am doubtful right now that we have a solvable seed. At least in a way that's, like, not agonizing to try and finish. Let's put the observatory here. We can get our star count boosted. Stars are really useful in a long run. I don't know how good they are in a run like this. The twins means there are 2 locked boxes in the opening room. If we get a sledgehammer, we can go back and get some nice little free prizes from that, but we do need a sledgehammer to be able to do it. Let's go ahead and pop the den down here. See if there's anything interesting in this southern corner. Nothing interesting today. We could put the bunk room down just because we've never seen it. It doesn't really help us to build it right now. We usually would want to put a room that has items in it, but the bunk room is kind of interesting just because if an item does choose to spawn in it, you get 2 of them. It's also got a little friend in it, and that's fun. And since we, see, 2 bananas. Since we picked up the sleep mask, it actually triggers twice, so we get a ton of steps out of this room, which is pretty nice. But our den is now counted up to 2, which is maybe going to be a problem later. We could West Wing Hall here, but I think I'm going to spare room instead. I want to keep this for a little higher up the house. It was really useful last time. The spare room is also one of the coolest upgradable rooms in the house, but you have to actually get the upgrade option for it to be cool. So let's take the security room. Security room's almost always good. Being able to make your keycard doors less common if you don't have a keycard is very helpful, and we are probably not going to be able to take keycards anymore, so we want them to be as unlikely as we can. Offline mode unlocked is also super important. I kind of wish you didn't have to go through the menu every time, because you basically always want to tweak some of those settings, and you have to do it manual clicking every time, which is not my favorite. We could go to the commissary, but we still have no money. I'm thinking closet or guest bedroom. I just don't know which one is going to be better for us right now. Closet is now dangerous because items now suck. Because we can only carry 2 of them. Let's go to the guest bedroom, I guess, and see if it does something fun. We have 81 steps, 3 gems, and 2 coins. When we walk in, we get what? 5 steps. Nothing else changed? We only got 5 steps because it was the sleep mask. There's nothing else in here, really? Okay, so it can't be the bedroom because we didn't get 2 steps. In theory, it could be the boudoir, because the boudoir doesn't do anything by default. Bunk room would have triggered twice, so it can't be the bunk room. Ladyship's chamber might have been possible, except we didn't draft it in the right way. I don't know if that matters for the ladyship's chamber guess. It could have been the maid's chamber, and we just wouldn't know if we got the negative effect of it. Master bedroom definitely isn't. Nursery, I don't think the nursery triggers on itself, so maybe it's the nursery. I see now the problem with taking the guest bedroom. Servants' quarters, it isn't. Aquarium, it might be. And hovel, I don't think it is. This is a trickier one, because there's a couple of potential options. There's a bunch of rooms that have no immediate step benefit to you when you go into them. But because we can't explore the house to see if anything else has changed, it's going to make it really hard to pin down exactly what we did here. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a guess. We'll see if it's wrong or right. I think it would be funny if it thought this was an aquarium. Is it? It isn't. That's okay. Alright, let's head up into security. Never mind, that door is locked. We are getting out of here. We can never come to this end of the house anyway, ever again, which is why we're trying to make our guess without coming back. Unfortunately, since we didn't get a hammer or keys, we cannot open these boxes, so they're probably going to stay locked forever. But can we get anything else interesting? Wine cellar gives us more gems. Passageway is not a good place for it, so I guess we're putting a wine cellar here, and we'll see if we can get something up this way, because that's not very good. Actually, I'm going to put the planetarium down, because we can't even really go into here. I guess we can. It doesn't matter. Let's put the planetarium down because it's new, and there might have been something I forgot sitting on one of the seats. I don't think there is. The planetarium does have an interesting little key on it that is useful, and there's another benefit to having access to this room. But I think we're unlikely to be able to use it anymore. I guess we need the key from the breakfast nook, so let's go there. It'll also give us our delicious bacon and eggs. 10 more steps and the morning room added to the pool. We do love the morning room. Pantry it is. Courtyard's not bad here, but I like the pantry, getting us over to the right-hand side. Eat our apple. Ooh. Well, I would have liked to put the morning room in, but that blocks us out of the rest of the house. So we're putting the parlor, and we'll see how far we can go. I don't know if I'm going to stream this again. I was just feeling it as something a little different to try today. But hopefully it's been at least interesting for those of you who are here to check it out. The gems are in the false box. The gems are in the false box. Only one of the other boxes is false. So, because there needs to be at least one false and one true box, that means that both of these are the same. So either the gems are in the false box or not, and only one of the other boxes is false, therefore must be false. Because if these are both true, then none of the other boxes are false, and if one of these are false, both of them is false. So that means I don't know what that means. Because if it means that they're both false, if they are both false, and the gems are not in the false box, then they can't be anywhere. And I think it means the gems are in here. I got a little lost in the conversation about this one. But because this is wrong, both of these must be true, which means the gems are in the false box, which means they're here. Yeah. Had a hard time explaining it, but I knew the answer was that it was in the one box that was different. Alright, up we go. What do we have? Coat check's no good, storeroom's no good, corridor's our only choice. Okay, what do we got? Greenhouse is no good because it doesn't have a door we can leave. Lavatory is no good because it's a dead end. Morning room is the only choice. We have a coupon book. This makes things we purchase 1 coin cheaper, which you might think is nothing of note, but there are some very cheap things you can buy, which make that value pretty good. Nothing else in here, though, and unfortunately I shouldn't have picked it up. We have 2 items now, I can't pick up a 3rd item. I keep forgetting that we have this awful restriction. I can never pick up another interesting item, and the coupon book sucks in that context. Way worse than just having an empty slot. Alright, let's go into the commissary. They got gems and magnifying glass, shovel, and more gems. Cool. I don't think we need any of these things, but I'll buy a gem for 2 coins, and then I think we'll leave. Don't want to spend all my money, because we might find another store we want to spend it in later. We have the lab again, which I guess is worth taking, because it's the only one that's not a dead end. Unfortunately, I found a dead end. Can we do anything with this? I don't know. What's our options? You draft a red room when you draft a drawing room, draw the drawing room, or spend 2 or more gems. Unfortunately, we can't do any of these, so this is over. Because we can't draft any more rooms, they're all dead ends. We can't draw any more rooms because we can't draft any more rooms, and we can't draft any more rooms. So it doesn't matter what we do. So I'm going to say whenever you spend 2 or more gems, gain a star. Go ahead. Alright, that is the end of this day. We're going to have to head back to the start. I think we can. I think we only went in all these rooms once. The entrance hall twice. So we can end the day in the planetarium, which gives us 2 bonus stars. Or we could go outside and try for a puzzle box. Let's see if we can do that. That's probably more interesting. I don't know if we'll get a room that has a puzzle box, but they are useful. So let's go outside. Toss a coin in the fountain. And head over here. Alright, trading post has one. That works for me. Let's go there. So, in a number of places in this game, you'll find these little puzzle boxes. And if you can figure out how to make them all be the same color that lights up the edges, you get a prize. And this one, you can see the different colors interact in different ways. How will you necessarily know what you're trying to do with them? Well, that's part of the fun, isn't it? I've already done this one wrong, so I have to reset it. I had the right starting position and then beefed it immediately. But that's fine. That's just how it goes sometimes. I think we need... Because we need to get one in every corner. We can't do them again. I think I need to do up one here, and then it should go... Nope, up one there, and then it should go. Yes. You get very good at solving these puzzle boxes with more time. But they're pretty easy to solve when you initially find them. It's true, lame. The answers are way later in the game, but thankfully, it's actually pretty straightforward to figure them out when you find one. And every puzzle box you solve has $2 in it, so that's fun. We could trade a sleeping mask for a magnifying glass here, or we could trade a coupon book for a sledgehammer. Sure, I'll take a sledgehammer. Thanks. Usually you can trade items back, but not always. If we trade the sleeping mask for a magnifying glass, we trade it back for salt. And if we trade it back for salt, we can trade it back for a battery pack. And if we trade it for a battery pack, we can trade it back for salt. So we have found an equilibrium here. Sometimes, though, you'll be able to find something that you can trade into a consumable instead. So if you just trade them back and forth, it'll destroy items in your inventory instead of letting you play around with them more. That's basically all we can do, though. In theory, I could use this sledgehammer to do some property damage, but we can't go back in the house, so we shan't be doing that. That's where we end that day as well. Because the entrance hall is already at 3 entrances, so if we enter it again, then we lose what little benefit we did get today. We'd lose our star, we'd lose our 2 allowance coins, and that's probably not worth it, so we'll call it a day here. Is it going to make fun of our house for being tiny this time? It probably will. It's a cozy inn. It's got 4 bedrooms, because the bunk room counts as 2, and it's cozy, because it has barely any rooms. Alright. So it goes. I think we're probably going to be leaving it out here for now, because we've already gone for about 2 hours, which is only about the time that I had to stream today. I'm probably going to try and stream again tomorrow, and I'm probably going to come back and do a bit of multiverse then, because I want to do another run of that soon. This seemed like it'd be a fun way to do a couple of quick dare mode days and see how far we could get. But I honestly don't know if I'm gonna even want to continue with this dare mode run because, like, oof, we got stonewalled so fast on those abilities to do anything interesting in the house. And that's the kind of thing that made me give up the last one, because it had a very similar set of rules. You can go into your profiles and remove the file if you want to go back and do it again. And you can see this is our main file where we were actually doing most of our puzzle solving and exploring and learning things the first time. I have my curse mode run where I was able to successfully beat it in curse mode, which is where everything sucks. Every room hurts in curse mode, and you start with like 11 steps. it's hard, and the orchard is destroyed. It's burned out before you get there, so you can't get those extra steps that way either. And I did a day 1 run, which was also pretty fun. So there's lots to do in this game. The dare mode is the only one I haven't finished, and for good reason, because it can be mean. Anyway, thank you for coming in and checking this out with me, and have yourselves a great evening. Until next time, bye-bye.